kind of no-good ruffians would break into my castle and steal my treasures? It's that rotten Captain Syrup and that black sugar gang. Wario awakens one noisy morning in his palatial home that he presumably earned in the first Wario Land game to find his treasure gone and the whole place flooded. Time to go after the blighters and get your riches back, and maybe increase them significantly along the way. Wario is again the protagonist in the first title in the Game Boy Mario series without the Super Mario Land tagline. You'll notice straight away that there are no lives to lose, and no timer. That's crucial because this platformer places much more emphasis on exploration, puzzle solving, and, most importantly, accruing wealth. You can really take your time through these stages, collecting as much gold and treasures as you can. There are multiple paths through most stages, a ton of hidden passages uncovered by either shoulder charging into walls or butt stomping through the ground, and they are all replete with lots of shiny stuff, ensuring you'll soon develop a magpie-like addiction to nabbing every last glittering coin. Backtrack as much as you like to really max your riches out, and along the way look for these hidden treasure rooms. Each stage has one and presents you with a minigame where you have to identify which out of the 8 tiles in front of you matches the image on the chest's lock. You pay gold to enter this game, which is why collecting as much as you can is so vital, and the amount you pay dictates how long you get to look at it. Forking over 200 gold gives you a few seconds and all but guarantees you'll pick the right one. However, the hard option that only costs 50 gold flicks the tiles over for a fragment of a second. You'll need to be really eagle-eyed to spot it. You only get one go as well, fail the game and the treasure stays locked. Thankfully, you can revisit any stage you want. Another minigame that you need to win to get 100% completion comes at the end of a level. There'll be a 3x3 grid with turned over tiles that you pay 50 gold each to flip. This reveals parts of a single digit from 0 to 9, and your task is to identify which digit it is. You can buy as many tiles as you like. It gets expensive though, and again you only get one go. Get it correct and you'll earn a small 2% fragment of this massive treasure map. There are 50 pieces to collect here, which should tell you how many levels there are in total. Get them all and you'll learn the location of Captain Syrup's treasure hoard. Maybe you can turn the tables on him. As mentioned, you can't die in this game, but taking damage does cost you a few coins. It's rarely much of a dent, but that's not the main purpose of the enemies being there. They're often interactable and can be used to solve various puzzles. Getting set on fire causes you to run back and forth. You can break flammable blocks this way. If you're squashed by a heavy weight, you'll be flattened, but this now allows you to glide through the air like a sheet of paper and can skillfully slot yourself in otherwise inaccessible gaps. Other blocks can only be broken by specific enemies. You'll have to stomp on them and hurl them to get through. All in all, there are 9 different transformations Wario can suffer, each with their own abilities and methods to undo. Don't fear you'll be stuck in any unusual state. Some will wear off over time, and others can be fixed, usually in the immediate vicinity where you got changed. A bird might re-stretch you out after being squished, or zombification might be reversed by stepping into a beam of light. The level design is just beautiful throughout, an achievement compounded by the sheer size of the game. It's massive, with so many areas to explore. The game is split into 5 distinct stories, each set in a different, gorgeously detailed environment, with the overarching point being to get your hoard back. However, along the way, you might be saving a chicken, figuring out how to drain the water from your castle, or trying to escape from a thorny maze. There's all sorts of stuff to do and discover. Even if you're not trying for 100%, the game will still take you a good few hours to get through. The sprite animation is fluid and super impressive, perfectly proportioned for the screen. When undergoing the transformations, Wario gets mashed and morphed into some hilarious designs, full of humour and charm. Zombie Wario looks genuinely gross, and Puffy Wario really appears like he needs some antihistamines urgently. There's a penguin that throws bowling balls at Wario, and if they hit him, he'll become dizzy, belch fireballs, stagger about, and need to splash himself with water to fix. Seems like an odd reaction to being hit by a bowling ball, but there's a reason. In the Japanese version, only Game Boy Color, the penguin actually hurls a beer at Wario, making him sozzled. This was, understandably, censored outside Japan. Some people perhaps don't realise this game came out on the original Game Boy, as it's much better known as a colour title. And honestly, while there were no other improvements, the colorization is stunning, so I'd maybe plump for the full colour version one instead of the original. It's backwards compatible anyway if you really want to play the monochrome version. As it happens, I asked for this game for my 11th birthday and my parents graciously provided. I was delighted to see Wario being portrayed as the good guy again, and without that snivelling plumber to get in his way. Then, around 6 months later, the Game Boy Color version came out, and I felt personally slighted. Wario was back to being a bad guy.